Hello and welcome to the 5th ever Scout Trio podcast. Today we have Zach and a special guest, Austin Metzger, with us. Austin, how you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of the podcast, finally. Looking forward to it.
So a little bit more background on Austin. We played high school baseball together. We were both accounting majors. Austin went to the University of Arizona. Great kid, comes from a great family, and we're happy to have him as our host on the podcast today. So hope you listen along and enjoy.
All right, Zach. So today I think we're going to start off on the college nationals prep list that will be released later today, I believe. So I think we want to first start off on is who are your favorites coming out of it? Who do you think is going to be favorited coming out of this summer?
Great question, Austin. So the top two pitchers on our prep list for the college national team pitcher-wise is going to be Graham Stinson, and for a left-handed pitcher from Duke University, as well as Zach Thompson, who's a left-handed pitcher from University of Kentucky. So Stinson and Thompson are both physically mature left-handed pitchers who both bring different abilities to the table. So where Stinson stands out is that two-pitch mix, but at the same time he's likely a reliever. We touched upon it earlier in our last podcast. So Stinson was my favorite pitcher from the college national team, and continues to be the pitcher I believe has the best chance of success at the highest level, being the big league level. I think there's a very good chance if a team drafts Stinson next year and says, hey, we're going to strictly stick you in the bullpen long term, that he'll be in the big leagues next summer. So not the 19 summer, but the 20 summer, so a year after being drafted, because he has at least 60, if you didn't want to call him 70 pitches. So where Stinson stands out is he's 93, 95, touching 96 from the left side. It's plus life on the fastball. He does a very good job staying close on the front side, so it plays up. It plays as a 65, if not 70 offering for me personally. And same time with the breaking ball, he uses a slider very efficiently and effectively. It's a two-plane breaking ball with very good depth, very good feel for hand speed. Tight rotation and cross plane, but what makes that 70, potentially even 80 type offering is that late depth that just breaks out of the strike zone. It doesn't give any hitters a good chance to hit it. Nevertheless, college hitters or high school hitters or anyone he'll face in the minor leagues. So you'll see Stinson, for me personally, unless a team wants to bring him out as a starter, move very quickly in the minor leagues. So Stinson's the highest graded out purely relief pitcher I've seen in my 6 years of doing this. He just has two pitches that can be dominant. He's a back end of the bullpen type guy. I don't mess around with it too much starting wise, because when he was pitching 2 or 3 innings out for the college national team, you would see that front shoulder leak late. You would see him get out of his lower half. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to like, and I don't mind a team going out and pushing him to be a starter type. But at the same time, while it's a very different body comp than an Andrew Miller, I see him being that Andrew Miller type from the left side, the dominant force that can work 3 to 6 outs consistently, where I wouldn't really mess with it too much. Moving on to Zach Thompson. So Thompson was the best arm from the college national team that I think has at least a chance to start. So Thompson was worked early, 90-92. A little bit later in the game was more 80-90, touch 91. But it's heavy life on the fastball with 2 secondary offerings. They tunnels well off the fastball. What I mean by that is they work on similar planes, dropping late. So the changeup breaks in one direction, the fastball breaks in another direction, the slider will break in another direction. So it all allows all of his arsenal to play up a half tick, if not full tick. So with Thompson, he repeats it decently well, but similar to Stinson, later you get into an outing, he'll leak a little bit, the arm will drag a little bit on the backside, he'll get some mistiming. So we had a B5-6 on Thompson, where we think it's realistic he's a 4-starter, ceiling will be a 3-starter. With the stuff he possesses, with the way he works downhill, the good extension he gets because of the use of his size, he's 6'4", maybe 220, 230. So he's a strong physical kid who's able to work downhill well. Because if he's able to do that, he's able to get a little bit more life and a little bit more playing, a little bit, let the velo perceive, and this is a big key term in baseball nowadays, perceive velo. So he lets the velo play a little bit above band because of this reasoning. So because of all these factors and having potentially 3 average pitches, even though it might be 45 command control, we have those 2 pitchers at the top of our pref list for the college national team.
Okay, Zach, let's just run down. I just want to get a quick rundown of these guys on the list, and let's maybe just get a few words about each guy and something you just want to point out about each one of them.
So let's pull up the list real fast here. I don't want to confuse anybody. Anyways, so let's start at the very top of the list. Obviously, it would be Graham Stinson, as you touched upon the last piece, left-hander pitcher for Duke. We won't go too much more in depth on him, but we're going to have a B55-60 on him. Moving down to Thompson, again, like similar to Stinson. We won't touch too much on him, but we have a B50-60 on him. The third pitcher on our list is going to be Jake Agnos. He's a left-hand pitcher from Eastern Carolina University. A little bit undersized, but it's a really, really quick arm. Was up to 96 from the left side, about 5'11". Really good feel for breaking ball. Moving down to Kenyon Yovan. So I saw Yovan in the spring. We touched upon him on a few other podcasts in the past. Likely profiles best in the bullpen in the future, but at the same time, good deception, works up to 95 out of the bullpen, good feel for 2 different secondaries. Then moving down to the next guy on our pref list is Zach Hess. So Zach Hess this past year was a draft-eligible sophomore. I saw Hess dating back to high school. At area codes, I remember him touching 96. That similar type of arm speed didn't phase out when I saw him pitch the college national team. It was 93, 96 consistently. Secondaries were a little bit inconsistent. There's some projection left in the body. There's just a lot to like there still, so that's why places so high on our pref list. Moving down to Jack Little, right-handed pitcher from Stanford. Little was a closer for the Stanford Cardinals this past year. I saw Little dating back to high school. I actually saw him the summer going into his sophomore year of high school when he was on the same high school team as Caden Grenier. Grenier was a shortstop at Oregon State, went 37th, 38th overall to the Baltimore Orioles this past year. But anyways, for Little, where he started out in high school, was really fluid arm stroke, really good athlete, was up to the 88 or 89 in high school, didn't have the plus velocity by any means, but had a really good feel for a changeup, had some workable hand speed for a breaking ball. Presently, I saw Little up to 94, same type of changeup, similar type breaking ball, where really good feel for hand speed, really good athlete. There's a lot to like there. Don't know quite yet if I'm going to project him out as a starter or reliever at the next level, but like I said, a lot to like there. Moving next to Kyle Bronovich. Bronovich is a right-hand pitcher at Elon University. Elon's a smaller known school, but Bronovich is the type of arm who has a chance to go very high in the draft. He was up to 92 when I saw him, worked 89 and 91 primarily, but 2 really good feels for secondaries, deception, stays close on the front side very well, but really good athlete, like I said, with a little bit of projection left. There's some effort there, but at the same time, there's quite a bit to like. Moving on to Cantorino. He's a right-hand pitcher from Rice University in Texas. So Cantorino is presently mature body-wise, and there's a ton of effort with not the best of arm actions, if I'm putting it politely. I mean, honestly, it's probably a 30 or 35 arm action. He doesn't decelerate well up front. He kind of twists and turns his arm over. It's kind of rough to watch at times, but at the same time, it's really good stuff on the right side. Up to 94. Good feel for a breaking ball. Deceptive, keeps front shoulder closed. There's a lot of moving parts, keeps hitters off time, able to change eye levels with the 2 pitches he has. Next, moving on to Andre Palante. He's a right-handed pitcher from UCI, so a local kid. I saw him last year actually match up against Yovan with the college national team, and I think his profile in the future will turn out being out of the bullpen in the future. So for him, it was up to 96 as well. Worked 92, 94 with 2 really good feels for breaking balls. So he had a curveball and a slider. The slider's better than the curveball presently. The slider flashed up to 65. I mean, it really worked in that 55-60 range. Very good tight cross-action plane. Very good feel for hand speed. Very good feel for arm speed. He has high front side, a little bit undersized, about 5'11", 6 foot, but at the same time, quite a bit to like there with the way the arm works. Next, we'll move into two different left-hand pitchers. First, starting off with Cody Bradford. He's a left-handed pitcher from Baylor University. Loose projectable, 89-91. Secondaries are not caught up to everything else. He'll flash you a little bit of hand speed and a little bit a feel to repeat his arm speed on the changeup, but it's a little bit long ways to go. A little bit more of a project here, but at the same time, a really good loose, athletic, projectable lefty that I think a lot of people will fall in love with if there's a little bit more present velocity that comes into play or a little bit more better feel for a breaking ball. So the next guy on our prep list is John Doyaxis, left-hand pitcher from Texas A&M University. Really, really good pitchability lefty. So he was 87-88, touch 89, short sweeping type slider that played very short within the velo band, very short horizontally on the axis plane as well. But really good feel for pitching, really good feel for tunneling, be able to mix and match, change eye levels, do a lot of things well that let his 3-pitch mix play at a very high level, where I think that Doyaxis has a very good chance to be a big leaguer someday. I just don't think he has the ceiling to be a 3 or a 2 starter, or maybe even a 4 starter in the big leagues. But at the same time, could he be that 5 or that first division 5 or that 7th inning reliever or that matchup lefty in the big league someday? I think there's a very good chance he is that. So that's why he ranks there on our pref list. Next guy on our pref list is Mitchell Sanger, another left-hand pitcher, 6'7", really big-bodied kid, 6'7", probably 240. Comes at you from a tough angle, a lot of moving parts. Reminds some guys like a Tony Cingrani, Alex Wood type. A little bit more physical than both those guys, larger frame. But 87-90 mainly. The breaking ball is extremely inconsistent, but will show strong average at his best. Interesting, just very inconsistent, but I see a lot to like there. Next guy will be Parker Caracci. A little bit of a 6-foot right-handed pitcher with a decent amount of effort. Fastball doesn't have much life. Breaking balls are right. Can be a swing and miss pitch at his best, but just a little bit inconsistent. Ryan Zephyr-Johns, right-handed pitcher for University of Kansas. Really quick arm, dating back to high school. Saw him up to 96 in high school. Was 96 out of the bullpen for the college national team. Secondaries were just really inconsistent. He'll flash a really good slider. Changeup's a complete work in progress, but lands off plane a lot. Arm swings very long and deep on the backside, so he'll miss timing on his front side. And I just don't think that there is better than 40 command control there, where it's a reliever profile in the future. Mason Fioli, left-hand pitcher, undersized, 5'11", 5'10". Very good feel for arm speed, very quick arm, but there's some effort there, and there's a breaking ball. He has a decent curve ball, but at the same time, undersized lefty with some effort that I think is in the bullpen role feature along. So Drew Parrish is the final guy on our 19 pref list. He's actually one of only 2 guys I project to have an A present grade. Parrish is extremely advanced, really knows how to sequence, really just knows how to pitch, but the stuff is just a little bit fringy from what I saw. So we had an A 35-40 on him at the bottom of our pref list. But at the same time, like I said, there's a reason why he's an A there. Very efficient, very good pitchability, left-hand pitcher, and that's our quick synopsis on our 2019 guys that we'd like for the college national team pref list.
All right, so now I want to ask you about maybe what are you looking forward to moving forward for the next upcoming season out of this group, the pref list. What are some of the things maybe specifically about a couple of the guys or a couple of the guys you just want to keep an eye on moving forward?
So as Metzger mentioned here, with the draft being 10.5 months away now, we still got a very long time to actually see where these guys end up going next June. So, as you talked about, what are some of the things I really want to focus in on in these upcoming months? It would be, with the college national team, we saw these guys in a lot of short bursts. So we didn't really get a full ability to see a guy work through a lineup a third time or things like that, where they're able to sequence better. Maybe they work fastball, heavy on the first and second time through the lineup, but then they start working in their breaking balls and their changeups, first pitch, the third or fourth time through the lineup. So I guess where I'm getting at most here is I want to see if a lot of these guys have a chance to start. So where Stinson, for me, what he has presently and what I saw in the shorter outings, yeah, I would love to see if he has a chance to start this year, but he's likely going to be a bullpen guy. But at the same time, a very good one, mind you that. I think Stinson could close a lot of games for a lot of teams very soon in the big leagues. But moving down a little bit farther down to a guy like Thompson, a big guy I really want to focus in on is Kyle Brnovich, the right-hand pitcher from Elon, because there is 3 average pitches there that all have a chance to be strong average. He continues to grow in his body a little bit more. So with a guy like that, a guy like Cody Bradford from Baylor, where I'm not sure if that stuff plays the best in a relief role, unlike Stinson. So I think Bradford's the type of guy who you have to push out as a starter. I think that Doyaxis from Texas A&M and Parrish from Florida State are 100% starters at the next level. They might be more organizational type pieces. That's why we have them as an A40-50, an A40-45 and an A35-40, respectively, on the pref list. But at the same time, with a lot of those other guys, we want to see if they have a chance to start. I want to know if Kenyon Yovan has a chance to continue to maintain his velocity throughout his start. Similar with Andre Palante. Similar if Stanford lets Jack Little have a chance to start this upcoming year. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to with this pitching pref list. But the main focus would be seeing if those guys have a chance to start at the next level. So Metzger, as our celebrity guest on this podcast, will give you a segment and have you talk about your thoughts on the Home Run Derby. So how do you think it was?
Well, I was disappointed and excited about at the same time, I feel like. One, being disappointed, I thought it was a little off being there's 7 National League guys this year and only 1 American League guy, being Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros. And being the only AL guy, I thought it was a very weak contestant for the AL, having Bregman being it, because I don't think he's personally viewed as a home run type hitter in today. However, going to the other side, in NL, I thought Bryce Harper was a no-brainer, but I thought it was a disappointing showing from Jesus Aguilar. I had a lot of money on him going out of and not even making it out of the first round was very disappointing for me. I thought Schwab was a great pick for it, being a little outsider, not being in the All-Star game. I thought he was a great pick for it. Going to the finals, obviously. Very excited about that. Had a little money on him as well. But overall, I thought it was very entertaining. I thought they're doing a great job with how they changed the rules a couple years back and are trying to develop it to be a little more engaging with the fans compared to what it was prior. Being said, I think there are a few things. I don't really want to get into the whole Bryce Harper finals thing at all. I really personally do not care because it was more entertaining when he was just hitting the balls left and right with I think he had 3 of them in the air at one point at the same time without the first one hitting the ground. But I think they're on the right track. I don't think they should change much up. I do think they need to get a few more bigger home run hitters in it and need to get maybe a few more AL guys and even it up like they've done in the past. So yeah. So Zach, we touched a lot on the Nationals pref list and all. To kind of wrap it up, is there anything you want to touch on, or what are you up to next? What's next on your list, and what are you looking out for?
So as we wrap it up with the college national team and the college national team pitcher pref list, it's a little bit of a lighter year college pitching wise, in my opinion. I don't think that a college pitcher will end up going 1-1 unless someone really shocks us. I think there's a position player, and we'll probably end up having a position player podcast similar to this one that has a very good chance. We touched upon him in a lot of different podcasts, and Adley Rutschman, the catcher out of Oregon State. I think he has a very good chance to go 1-1, but I'd be very surprised if there was a pitcher who ended up going 1-1 from the college side. At the same time, there are a few pitchers who I believe from this team that will end up sneaking their way into the first round. I don't know who those guys are quite yet. If there is one, obviously I think it's going to be Stinson, the pitcher out of Duke. But nevertheless, time will tell. We're still 10.5 months out from draft time. But wrapping it up with touching upon what I'm going to do next. The next big event is going to be arguably the biggest event of the whole summer. Area Codes, which is hosted at Blair Field. It's the home of Long Beach State University Dirtbags baseball. So that it starts 2 weeks from tomorrow. So August 6th is the first day of that. After that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of that week is the PGA All-American game down in San Diego. So I'll be there for that as well. But wrapping it up, it was great to have Austin Metzger as our celebrity host for our 5th podcast, and hope you listened along and enjoyed. Have a great day. Bye.